Hello, kings, queens, and beautiful people. Today, I'm going to be doing a more theme sort of analysis. I'll probably mention characters too of anime series 2008. I already did a review for. Please check that out. I don't know what I'm putting here. It'll probably be here or here, right? On Soul Eater. At least what I think the main themes in Soul Eater are. This is going to be spoilers. I'm going off the presumption that you at least either watch most of Soul Eater or at least half of it before I go into depth about any sort of theme analysis or anything like that. And the reason I do theme analysis is because I find it's interesting. Most stories or series tend to have at least a theme or idea that is either thought provoking or I can relate to reality in some capacity. So I'm trying with my amateurish 21-year-old brain to do that. I'm not even like an English major or anything, so we'll go. Just a lover of entertainment. Now, with Soul Eater is just because it's the one I own anywhere. Got it very cheap too on Amazon. But I think with Soul Eater, one of the main themes I'd probably list in order is chaos and order, family and relationships, and then sort of slightly tribalism, but not really. I'm going to touch on the chaos and order because I feel like that's the biggest theme in the entirety of the series. Because the whole point of the DWMA, the Death Meister Weapons Academy, is to maintain law and order within this world. Similar to Bleach, I guess, in that respect. You have Keishans, um, these evil souls that want to eat human souls and, create destruction and chaos and all that sort of stuff. Whereas with the DWA, what they do is fight, obviously human souls that have turned into Keishans or evil souls, right? Um, I collect them to become, and to collect them to become death weapons, the whole idea. They collect these certain Keishans, eat them and absorb them and, become the Death Meisters, right? It's all about maintaining chaos because they're diametrically opposed. You have chaos on one side, order on the other. They're complete opposites, but the idea is maintaining order. That's even reflected in the character of Death the Kid. The fact he wants everything to be symmetrical or have an order or have a system. Maybe in Death the Kid's case, a bit extreme because a lot of people have hypothesized he possibly suffers with a type of OCD in which he has an obsession with order and symmetry to the point it almost gets him killed at points. I know it's sometimes played up for laughs, but definitely I feel that's reflective in the Death the Kid. I mean, the perfect number to him is 88 because it's perfect to him. It's symmetrical to him. It makes order. Anytime he doesn't have anything symmetrical or in order, he tends to get either very depressed or go into kind of, terrible states, so to speak. So I'd say maintaining the kind of dichotomy of chaos and order would be one of the main things with Soul Eater as a whole. Secondary would probably be friendships and relationships and family. That's quite obvious because in this series, having a good relationship at soul wavelength is like their connection, you know, between a weapon and their meister is essential when they're fighting evil characters, be it people who've turned into like, demons or whatever, or Keishans or whatever, right? You know, when the main characters say Soul and Maka aren't working great together, it doesn't go very well. When they actually have a better and well-built and established relationship, and you notice it with other characters and their weapons and meisters, they do a lot better. They're a lot stronger together. So definitely relationships is a very important factor in this series as well. Whether it's relationships with weapons and meisters or other characters, whether they're good or bad, they seem to be essential in this story. And I'm going to be mostly going on the good end. Now, even on the negative end, it's the even parental relationships some of the characters have with their parents. I think that the kid's relationship with Grim Reaper is more one of, like, he respects his dad. Yeah, the Grim Reaper's his dad, right? But, though, like, it's like he mostly respects what his dad does. Like, it doesn't seem like they're overly huggy and affectionate, but, he respects him. Say with the likes of Spirit Auburn and Maka, she quite clearly does not like her father a lot. And I kind of understand it. I think it's a very realistic thing that could happen to people and has happened to people where they don't have the best relationship with their parent. In this case, it's Maka's father, right? She doesn't like her father because he cheated on her mom and basically chases anything up a skirt, despite being like a high ranking and a death site, so like one of the highest ranking, like the highest ranking weapon you could be, right? She doesn't respect him nor particularly like him. She actually admires her mother a lot more, who we never actually get to see in the series, which to some people boggles the mind. And I understand when people both like and hate Maka. On one hand, I do like Maka. She's strong, she's smart, she's generally a competent fighter. Not always. Like, honestly, if it was a hand-to-hand combat, I'd rather have Black Star or Get the Kid, right? My personal opinion. But I'm just saying, I'm like she wields a scythe rather well. Don't get me wrong, but I just think in a hand-to-hand like fight, I'd probably get Black Star because he's just saying, right? But I do recognize she has flaws as a character in terms of she's not always the most patient character. She doesn't have the best relationship with with some of the males in her surroundings, but it mostly stems from the fact she doesn't have the best relationship with her father. I know I'm basically saying she got daddy issues, but they are legitimate, you know? Because most people, the first male or female, usually male figure they have in their life is their father. And the fact her father is like out here chasing skirts, doesn't really lighten her view of him. Now, I will say, on the other hand, Spirit Allburn, despite at times being like way too overprotective and kind of a weirdo, right? He means well. He very much means well, And when they mentioned, I think in the slightly later episode, I think it was episode 25 or 26, I can't remember the exact episode, where Maka mentions that her dad, Spirit Allburn, was only 18 when she was born. To me, I felt like it kind of added to the factor as to why he probably isn't the most competent parent. Not to diss any 18-year-old teenage parents out there. I know 18's legally an adult, but for most people, you're 18, you're either just finishing secondary school or starting college, right? He probably wasn't the most prepared person when it came to, becoming a parent and actually having to take care of a child. And they say, like, a lot of studies say your brain doesn't stop developing until you're 25. So in that sense, it could be the fact that, he probably wasn't the most, put together person at 18 and probably was still at that sort of F-boy stage where he was, chasing skirts up everywhere. So that's probably why he wasn't the most competent. Now, granted, by the time the series, that's not an excuse, of course. And by the time the series starts, he's at least in his early 30s, I'm presuming, if Mach is like 15 or 16, right? So that's the one thing. But it's different when I compare Maka's relationship with her father to another character, Krona, who initially starts out as an enemy of theirs and later kind of becomes a somewhat ally. Because Krona's this androgynous character. I'm not really sure if Krona's meant to be male or female. It's never really stated particularly. I think in the English dub he's referred to as a male, so I'm going with the English dub's definition. Like, when you compare the relationship, like, it's no wonder Krona has emotional issues or issues connecting with people and always feeling constantly alone, because his mother quintessentially just used him as an experiment for her weapons and all her messed up shit, Medusa, right? But yes, the character's called Medusa. You can really see where Okubo got his inspirations, right? Like, he has abandonment issues and issues connecting with people because of the whole Ragnarok weapon that's pretty much embedded within him. That makes it difficult for him to relate to people or even let people in, generally speaking. Like, his treatment, the way his mother treated him, honestly, if it was in reality, she'd probably have CPS on her ass, so quickly for, like, abuse, right, and neglect. But, compared to that, I'm like, yeah, no wonder he's not is able to connect with people and things like that. It's completely understandable. So yeah, I'm saying relationships matter too. Even the familial ones or the friendship ones that they do have. Like I said, Soul and Maka's one's a very important one. I know some people were asking, do you think it could be a romantic one? Me, I prefer the fact that it's mostly a friendship because I'm kind of sick of the whole trope of like every male and female pair, has to be in a relationship per se. I'm like, not really in this case. I don't believe so. The relationships, say Black Star has with Tsubaki, though he's obviously the obnoxious Naruto-esque type character, I get it in a way. She's much more soft-spoken, Tsubaki, and given her backstory, I kind of get it. The whole idea of your sibling being jealous of you. It's kind of like the Cain and Abel thing where, one sibling got the blessing and the other one thought they should have got it because they were the oldest and ends up resenting the other sibling. I get that. And in a way, it is kind of a sad and tragic one because, obviously he ends up, kind of fading away and she ends up getting his weapon, so to speak. So I'd say that's one of the main themes within Soul Eater. As I said, I've covered the chaos and order and the familial shit, right? They're like the main ones I could say. I can't really say too much about the tribalism one, kind of in a sense that, well, not really tribalistic, but you can definitely see there is conflicts, not just with the whole, like, releasing the Kishin and, death mice, sorry, was it weapons and meisters and stuff. It's more that, like, say in this world, you don't fuck with witches usually. It sounds weird, but you don't. Because you have all sorts of people, right? Witches and like the death weapons, they just do not get on. Like usually it's witches. It's like, now not all the case. Like Blair the witch, right? Generally the more friendly kind of witch that can turn into a cat. I guess it's more like a magical cat. It's kind of hard to say, right? Um, likes that, generally they don't get on at all. But I think that's the case anyway, because, that's been the case in a lot of stories. Usually the witches are bad. So that didn't really surprise me too much. But I think that the main themes of Soul Eater, unless, let me know what you think. Tell me if I'm correct or wrong, or if there's more themes I could cover in relation to Soul Eater as itself. Thank you for watching.